Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Shumin.
Hi, Simran. One thing that I have been thinking about recently is how some people come into my life and, I never know how they're going to come in again. And they end up having an unexpectedly large role in my life. And for me, you are one of those people whenever I think that.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Right.
Our paths cross again and again.
Again and again. So what people want to know about Simran Toor? I think one thing that listeners might not know about you is that once upon a time, you told me that your dream was to set up an all-female law firm. And, when we talked about it, I was so excited, but life has taken you to other places.
Yes, few sharp left turns have happened since then. But I think really the idea for this female-friendly law firm was, the more and more senior I got in practice. I was at AGC for about 5 years, then 15 years in private practice. I started seeing my female colleagues at the bar leaving, going in-house, just basically saying, that's too much, particularly now that I've got married and I've got young kids. I'm trying to find a formula that balances everything. And disputes practice, as you know, is very taxing. So to me, it felt like a loss of talent.
Yeah.
And a little unfair. And I was just thinking, could there be a place where we still do disputes work? It may have to be a different scale, but at least for the years where these ladies want to take a bit more time for their family, they can continue, stay relevant, keep their contacts.
Yeah.
And they don't have to say, I'm leaving, I'm just doing something entirely new because I feel there's no place for me anymore.
Yeah, and that's a real pity.
So that was the plan. And thankfully, COVID changed a lot of things, right?
COVID?
During COVID, we never thought before COVID that you could, as a disputes lawyer, work from home.
Yeah.
I had conversations with the Law Society about this, and it was...
When you were chairperson of Women in Practice?
Even before that.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the reasons why I ended up co-founding that committee.
Yeah.
Because I realized there were a lot of unique struggles and challenges that lady lawyers face. And, it's got to be somewhere where they can ask for things and have the regulator think about implementing some solutions, right? So back in those days, working from home as a disputes lawyer, completely impossible. Thank goodness for COVID. That really changed things.
Yeah.
It's still not easy, but I think the flexibility really helps.
Yeah.
I have heard that there are a couple of firms out there now. I'm very interested to meet with them, actually. It's all female partners, and they all have kids under the age of 5. And I'd love to find out how they manage their workload. They share work with each other, and they create that flexible environment for them to be able to practice meaningfully.
Yeah, I want to know logistically how that happens, because for disputes matter, it's very much driven by the partner, right?
And the client.
And the client, but the client wants to know, I've got this person looking after my matter, this person reading my documents.
And this person available or reachable possibly all the time.
At any point in time. Yeah, that one is the hard part. Okay, so instead of opening a female law firm, right, you end up... and I remember being so surprised when you said you were leaving Women in Practice Committee. I was happy to, work with you on that committee for 2 years. You ended up as CEO of SG Her Empowerment. So how did that happen? And more importantly, how was that experience? And what do you think, what was your takeaway from it? What did you...
Okay, first part. I think I may have just been noisy enough for long enough to enough people asking for things for women.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was sort of advocating for is we should have something tantamount to an equality commission for gender in Singapore, some kind of public-private body or council to look at issues and challenges that Asian women face. And have the corporates on board as well, right? Because you can implement policy, but it needs to be adopted. So something like that. And then when SG Her Empowerment, or she was set up by a fellow lawyer, Stephanie.
Well, that was the product of the Alliance for Action.
Yes, that we were both on.
Yeah.
Looking at online harms and how they affect women and
that's right.
Gender equality online. So basically, SG Her Empowerment, or she, would have served very, very similar goals to this Equality Commission, right?
Yeah.
And so when that job opportunity came along, I thought to myself, Simran, you weren't thinking of leaving practice. You
Yeah.
know, you have your niche, everything's
right.
going well, you know what you're doing, everything's comfortable. But will you ever get a chance like this again?
Yeah.
And then the answer was no, right?
Yeah.
Don't get a phone call like this another time in your life if you say no the first time.
Yeah.
So this is one of those occasions where I took a really big leap of faith.
Wow.
Of course, it paid off 100-fold. I can tell you, I learned so much.
Yeah.
Setting up an organization just from a piece of paper, you know, an ACRA that just is the organization name and the directors. But the thing it taught me the most is that if any of us dispute lawyers think that dispute law is all we can do, we are very, very wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not trained as a CEO.
As disputes lawyers, we can do...
We have transferable skills that even I wasn't aware of.
Really?
Okay, just think about it, right?
Yeah.
Every case you do, sometimes you deal with a different commercial industry. So you learned a lot about the lay of the land that way, right?
Yeah.
You deal with boards, companies, so you know all the processes. A lot of times you have to look at compliance, where it's gone wrong. So you're very risk focused, right? I represented a charity once that got things very, very wrong when it came to it's a fairly famous case that involves a pop star's attempted career. So I was quite alive to what to do in a charity, what not to do. And setting it up was not really as challenging as I thought, because to be a good lawyer, you have to be practical and commercial.
And decisive.
And you have those skills.
Yeah.
So I was quite nicely surprised. And, you know, I'll tell anyone that will listen now to say, actually, don't silo yourself.
Right.
You know, transferable skills are important.
Right.
And you have them.
And what is the proudest moment as a CEO? If like you were to look back on your time there, one of the things you're proudest of, what would that be?
I think really to see it come alive and become a reality, become an organization that really is making impact on people. I'll never really get over that. Sometimes as a lawyer, you don't really see the direct impact of your work.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get a judgment for a client. It can be $1 billion, but you don't see the real life impact.
Yeah.
But in this job, that was very, very apparent. And I think that really made it very meaningful.
I remember the early days, right, when you were at Sime Darby Center, and you were like, oh, we're moving in, and I got my furniture, and I have these young interns who are all enthusiastic, you know, about this, helping me set up shop. Those were the really early days.
I have to say, there was a 5-minute moment in those early days where we got the space that was very kindly donated to us for a while. Yeah, and I was sitting on the floor of a unit with no carpet, just sort of glue on the floor. No furniture. There was a broken light bulb sort of like fizzing above my head, and a lease document, a 50-page one that I was like squatting on the floor signing.
50-page.
And there were no windows. So I just thought to myself, I was like,
what have I got myself into?
Like MBFC corner office with a view.
Yes.
But you know, that.
But next thing you know, you're on a flight to the UN, and you know, you're being part of that amazing delegation. Really... How cool was that?
And we did it twice in the time that I was there. I have to say, going to the UN, speaking there is really something out of this world.
Yeah.
And not just that, it lends perspective to all your struggles. To us in Singapore, all these things I cannot balance my children with my work, my expectations on me as the female, yada yada. They feel like they consume us.
They do.
They do, yeah.
Yeah.
But when you go there, you get perspective, because there are some women who have no clean water.
Yeah.
Who are living in war-ravaged countries.
That's right.
So I'm not saying that our struggles aren't relevant, but having perspective does help.
Yeah.
And of course, you meet everyone from everywhere at the UN. So it was really great.
So what is on your... so now that you've left SG Havawan, you know, set it up, done a good job there, you're on the next chapter now?
Yes.
What are you on to now? What's on your heart?
Working on a project now for the Singapore Academy of Law to set up a training program for young lawyers, so disputes and corporate. I think one of the things there was a real white space for in Singapore was post-qualification practical training. That's not on the job. I mean, law, as you know, it's an apprenticeship, right?
It's a craft.
Yeah, and you learn it on the job. You learn it with the deadlines looming, right? And the client already calling you. And it may well be the first time you're trying something, you really have these pressures, right? So there isn't a place where say a junior, I'm going to simplify it, go and sit down with someone, draft a pleading.
Right.
There's no pressure, no time pressure, or try application advocacy for the first time, and get feedback, not just from senior lawyers, but even judges, right? Who are
You get scolded by.
Yeah, who are the recipient of your arguments, right? And the tips they give are the tips you want to hear, right?
That's right.
So we're designing something like that now, which is a fairly interesting challenge. So that's where I am now.
And how long is this course going to? Is it going to be a course or a series of courses?
It's actually a 2-year-long course that offers about 20 modules, all kinds of different subjects in corporate and disputes, some basic things like client management, file management, So even financial statements, understanding financials.
How many times I've heard with lawyers we don't understand.
Right. No, but we have to, right?
Yeah,
Can you think of a case?
No, how else are you going to cross the valuation expert?
That's right. Not even that. You don't even understand if you're a fraud lawyer like I was.
Yeah.
How you can understand what happens if you can't read the financial statement, right?
That's right.
At least know enough to know when you have to hand over to an expert, a real expert. Right?
You need to know what you don't know.
That's right. So I think this is what this course is meant to do, sort of for 0 to 5 year PQE lawyers, is to give them a lot of practical skills.
Yeah.
And to teach them certain topics that are up and coming. So like ESG.
AI.
AI, technology law, right?
Yeah.
Clients will be coming to you to say, hey, I'm going to launch this AI product. What is the law? And you have to know enough to say, well, actually, there's none yet.
Yeah.
But this is how you structure it,
So again, you're making the world a better place.
Yes, it would appear I'm purpose-driven. I don't know if better place.
Which is why.
Like being taught in exam, but okay.
Which is why I feel like in some sense we've kind of our circles have crossed intentionally, unintentionally, and then intentionally when I bring you into my pet projects.
Oh yes. So once in a while, I'll get a message from Shumin going, can you come? Can you join? Like this podcast. Like, oh. No, but, as I told Maxwell Chambers, if you ask, I would do it.
I know. And that
it's
makes
good
you
to have
very active.
allies in the profession like this. You do things not just for your legal work, but at an umbrella level for the profession together, at an umbrella level for society together,
And to me, I think what not missing, but what I think we can improve on is having more friends at the bar.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because for this young lawyers training program, it's called the Junior Lawyers Professional Certification Program.
Ayo.
Along the, I know, so the short form is JLP, okay? So
JLP, okay.
So the JLP, we've done some taster modules just to, iron out the kinks. Almost without exception, the young lawyers will say to me, it's so good being in the same class with young lawyers from other firms.
Yeah.
I never get to meet them.
Yeah.
The bar rooms these days are sadly
empty.
On the emptier side.
Right.
It's like tumbleweed and like crickets, right? Sometimes when you're walking. So there's no place for them to have peer-to-peer networking.
Last time it used to be the seats outside the PTC, the PTC chambers where you wait for your hearing and then you talk. But now we don't have that. But we also do have the Law Society committees.
Yeah, not everyone signs up for those.
Okay.
Right?
If you're listening and if you haven't, you should sign up.
Sign up for the Women in Practice Committee
That's
as well.
right. That one's a good one. But I feel, and I feel especially with litigation, because sometimes we are reduced to the names on the letterheads or the names in the email inbox. And when you open it, I mean, disputes, the process being adversarial.
Yeah.
What you're getting is probably not going to be a very pleasant or friendly letter unless we're in settlement
talks. All our rights are expressly reserved.
Expressly, including my rights to claim cause. No, but so to know somebody as a person, that gives meaning to practice, but that also changes, the tenor of it. And I think what's important is at the end of the day, you need to be an effective litigator, which is not and you don't necessarily have to be bang table, aggressive.
I mean, I'm sure you have as well, all the different styles.
Yeah.
right, from your seniors. And I mean, at the end of the day, you are doing a job. It's not personal to you. What your client's position is not personal to the other lawyer or the other side's client. But it's fairly easy, it would seem, to forget that. Because
I think especially when you're junior.
Their work.
Yeah, when you're junior especially, that their problem becomes your problem.
Yeah.
Their loss becomes your loss. Their win,
you feel
win.
it, right?
Yeah, you feel it. And you still feel it, just in a different way. And,
but I think you are doing your client a service, a positive service, if you are able to pick up the phone and talk to the other lawyer on the other side.
That's right.
On a friendly basis.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me in many cases. And I think we got win-win outcomes in all of them.
Yeah. I guess that's why the Women in Practice Committee is just that special.
Yeah.
Because, we're not like the more hardcore committees like civil procedure. That one is all substance, or, arbitration, area. We're more what's affecting us as people, what's affecting the working mothers,
It's the human side of practice, right?
Which is just as, if not more important, right? The human side of practice.
How do you sustain yourself in a long-term career if you can't sustain yourself?
Yeah.
The challenges are too big to overcome. Actually, that's quite a topical issue, the sustainability of practice.
Yeah.
You see how many young ones are leaving. You have one cliff at sort of a 5-year PQE mark where people just decide, practice isn't for me.
Okay.
And that one, men and women drop off at about the same rate.
Okay.
But there's another cliff. Maybe around the 10 to 15 year PQE, kind of like when we're about late 30s.
Right.
And that one is majority women.
And what do you think's driving it?
Well, my own surmise is that that's the time when a lot of women are starting families or have young families.
Right.
And it's the same time they're hitting partnership or equity partnership.
And you have to make a choice.
And they just find it too much. There's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
This idea you can have it all is... well, it's not true. You can be a 50% mother and a 50% lawyer, but that's 100% of your time already, right?
Yeah.
So it's tough. And that's when women take a step back. And if you look at senior lawyers, it is one woman is to 3 men, all the way up to,
My worry now, now I have my own team, and I sometimes am at the receiving end of such comments, but my worry now is whether the sort of life that I lead, is it discouraging people from practicing? So like when I go for me, right? When I go on holidays, I wake up an hour earlier than my family, and then I clear all the work, especially with a different time zone, take the calls, and then the rest of the days when you have pockets of time, you're queuing up at Disneyland or something, you do that. But I wonder, and the associates are watching, right? And I wonder, are they thinking? Will they look at me and think, no, I don't want that life. And the reality is that who you are as the kind of lawyer you are, what you're able to deal with when you are a first-year associate, second-year associate, is very different from the kind of lawyer that you are when you're a partner, when you have, been doing this for some time, But so to somebody, even to me as a first-year associate, whatever, that might be intimidating, but also you're a different person, you're a different lawyer. So, but I worry, about whether...
No, it's a very valid concern. I think on the Law Society before, we were thinking about mentorship, particularly.
Yeah, we're still doing
males.
that.
Yeah, and one of the comments I kept hearing was, but the young ones, they look at us, seniors, and they're like, oh, thanks for offering to mentor me, but I don't want your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I want a different kind of mentor who can teach me how to balance and do my side hustle. So the wants and needs of the different generations are very different.
Exactly.
So a question for senior lawyers on how you sustain your practice, a big question, is how you keep your juniors for the longer term. If you don't have a number 2 and a number 3 that's reliable and wants to stay the course, you can spend the next 20 years of your career doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah. I don't really think so much about, is it for the sustainability of the team? But for me, it's more for me, the team is important. And for me, it's we're in this together.
Yeah.
And our jobs aren't easy, especially when there are standards that we have to meet. There's research that we have to be exacting and document review, and that takes time and it's not easy. And so, if we're going to be doing this together, and they're going to be the hard nights or late nights when, we're up till 1 or 2 a.m. doing all that, it makes all the difference if we like each other.
It's fit, right?
Yeah.
It's personality fit. That's one part of it.
Yeah.
And to what degree do you have conversations to them so that they see their future as well? And that you are happy with how they feel they are shaping their future?
Okay. So as a team leader, I think once or twice a year, I do a check-in with them and I ask them, how do you see yourself how do you think you did? Like, what do you think you can improve on? What do you want to be? What are there goals that you want to achieve? And where do you see yourself for the next 2 to 3 years? But I think more than just their dreams, I think the bigger thing is understanding them as people, understanding what their view of work is. Some of them will be like, even if it's urgent, not urgent, I'm going to finish it. I have to finish it before I sleep. I'll get these emails at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Others will be like, I'll get you what you need. And I know I can depend on them to do a good job. But on the weekends, I need my weekends. If that's it, if it's urgent, I know I can count on them fully. They will turn up. But other than that, unless it's that pressing, unless I've got a Mareva to file on Monday, I know that I'm not really going to hear from that person in the day, but I know, he or she will come online at night. And that's just respecting that everybody's different.
A lot about being a partner, running your own team, is having these people and management skills. So,
okay, maybe we'll end with this. This is something that I think you and I have both gotten a lot. What would you say to the young female associate who wants to make partner, as we both have at some point in time in our career, but the path seems long and daunting? What would you say?
I say this only because I've reached the age that I have and I have the experience I have, right? I wouldn't have said this when I was a 25-year-old. It is look at all your life goals, not just work. If you want to be married and have children by 35, but you also want to be a partner, be clear and all these 3 or 4 buckets of things you want to achieve. And then when you plan your approach, you will plan it holistically with all of this, right? It may well be that your plan takes longer than somebody else's.
Yeah.
Because careers are a long game.
Yeah.
If you are 3 years behind, it's okay. You will be there for 40 years.
That's true.
But you will have made sure you achieve all your life goals.
And on that very optimistic note,
we shall discontinue.
Thank you, Simran.
Thank you, Shumin.
Thank you.